The Fox a while back asked a question that I thought would kind of get you going. The Fox on YouTube says, "Does anyone even play Titanfall 2 anymore?" Yesterday, Frontier Defense update release for Titanfall 2. Explain what it is to us and why it's one of the bigger updates aside from what was the new Titan?
New Titan was Monarch.
Aside from Monarch, why is this one of the bigger updates to Titanfall 2 in the year or so that it's been out?
Good question. It implements 4-player co-op, your horde mode, if you will, and it's probably one of the best. Keep it together. It's probably one of the best horde modes I've ever played. Like, I feel like sometimes those can be, kind of slapped onto a game, but like here it's like. It's really very separate as well, and we'll get into more about that, I guess. But like it's a completely different feature as far as like your progression. You have these things called Aegis ranks, right, where they're specific to your Titan. So the more you play as a specific Titan, you kind of increasingly build up different types of abilities that are really very much game changers.
They're kind of OP stuff, but then you start getting into the higher difficulties of this mode, and you realize you need them.
That's separate from normal.
Correct. Well, that's the cool thing. Here's how I think it's going to happen, and just to give an idea of like what one of these abilities would be, it's like there's like 12 ranks, I think. So someone like Scorch, 9. Is it 9?
From what I saw yesterday.
Okay, 9.
If my memory is accurate.
So one of the second to last ability for Scorch, who has a very slow fire rate with his thermite launcher. One of the last ones is you can fire 3 consecutively without having to reload, which is huge for someone like that.
Uses Scorch a lot.
Scorch is great.
That's best dad for me.
Yeah, side note, he was one of the only aspects of the game that got like a really big buff. So people, Tay and I were doing this live stream yesterday, which was really fun. It's funny to see all these. The community is really great and fun to see progress. Where people are calling him now Papa Scorch.
Yeah,
and you just hear all these puns, and people just love their main, and they like to kind of have very fun.
There's fan fiction.
Oh, I'm sure. But anyways, what were we talking about? Jeez.
So the Aegis rank is specific to Frontier Defense,
correct.
But all your other progression is consistent across PvP and this.
Right.
So you can upgrade, like my Ronin, who's the one I've been working on, he was level 14 when I first got into it, and I ranked him up to 17. The Aegis rank does not, those more powerful abilities and attacks don't factor into PvP stuff, but
for now they don't.
Right.
I
have a hard time believing they ever will. Those are pretty big.
You're absolutely right, and I was thinking about it too, and I see it as just if they do implement it into PvP, it would be its own mode, right?
Yeah,
like you would definitely have to keep it separate.
It's just like Iron Banner and Destiny or something that takes into account those kind of imbalancing abilities.
It could be. It's really fun, man. It's really fun. So yeah, you have these waves. There are 5 waves. They get increasingly more difficult, as you can imagine. You have enemy types that have that wield mortars. So the premise of the horde mode is that you have a harvester that you need to protect, and if it's destroyed, then you lose, and you have 3 retries to survive 5 modes. So you have these enemy types like mortars that are further away from your harvester that are kind of luring you out
on rooftops.
You have to take them out, or else they'll rain havoc on your harvester. And then, so I had played, in order to get to there's 4 difficulties, easy, regular, hard, and master. I played.
Isn't it insane? I thought it's called.
It's weird. It's like a whole separate difficulty. I don't even know what it's like because you have to actually level up your Aegis rank. So in order to get to hard, you have to have I think a rank of 5 or 10, I believe. And Tay and I just did, for the sake of the stream, we just did regular mode, and it was. By the end of it, we were actually this is kind of easy. Then I tried hard mode, and my God, was crawling by the end of it, and that's what I really, really enjoyed. And it was really difficult. And you start seeing all these implemented aspects of the enemy types, especially for Titans. Like Mike, you were talking about. So here you can see a Scorch with a Legion with a nuclear icon over it, meaning. Nuclear ejection. So when you destroy him, he's going to explode and do an insane amount of damage. If you don't take out those guys prior to them getting in the vicinity of your harvester, you're going to lose. You have to take those guys out quickly because they will wreck your harvester.
Yeah.
And so in hard mode, by like the last wave, it's just an onslaught, like a dozen of these guys, and it's so panic inducing, and just fun. And so yeah, you're strategizing here. You know, like many other horde modes, you know in between rounds, you're buying arc traps. You see there. Turrets, you're getting strategic. You're putting the arc traps in lanes. There's one there on the bottom left that's nuclear. If you rodeo a Titan, when you get off, you immediately cause him to explode.
Yeah.
So that is kind of pushing you to get out and down the lanes as quick as possible to get out, take out these nuclear Titans.
The thing I like about this DLC is it actually makes me rethink how my loadouts work. So
Totally.
I'm definitely how many loadout slots do you get higher up levels? I don't know. I'm sure like my 9 and 10 slots I'll make specifically for Frontier Defense, because I told you I've been working on Ronin, and you said there are some Titans that have that. You could see right here the arc electricity surrounding them.
And they storm in because Ronin is very much a close quarters type of Titan.
So but also when I unlock my sword core for Ronin, which is like his ultimate, so to speak, he like there's 4 Titans coming down a lane, whereas in multiplayer I'd save that for when I can take out 1 or 2 enemies, and I'll kind of be conservative about it because I don't want to just die. In this, I'll be the only one in that lane. The other 3 people will be off doing their own thing, and I'll activate it kind of more arbitrarily, or not arbitrarily, more on a whim right away because I need to defend them for that. So and there's also like anti-Titan weapons are much bigger now, or not much bigger, but I use them much more. Plus, they revamped the weapon system earlier, so you can have 2. You have the sidearm and the anti-Titan.
Which one of the biggest gripes of this update, because they're always changing balancing. The one thing I see a lot of people commenting on is that they actually nerfed a lot of almost all of the pistols, which is kind of a bust having that slot now, and it's like great. There's no point in using it. So this is always cool when you have actually infinite respawns. So it's just about keeping your harvester alive. So here you are like entering on a dropship, doing damage from above. They even added the drones, which I totally forgot were in the single player drone enemy types they come in waves. So you just see them coming over buildings and just flocking in. You're just hosing them down. It reminds me of like, this is a weird comparison, but it reminds me of like Matrix Revolutions, just those sentinels coming at you and you're a Titan just like,
those were in the first one too at the end.
Well, just the ending battle they have in the Zion, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways,
the Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah, and the other great. That's a tough word to say. Good job. The other cool thing is that you have different types of waves. Maybe you'll get again like nuclear Titans coming in, or just a bunch of grunts. They're very specific to maps. So there are, I believe, 5 maps currently. They'll implement the mode into other ones down the road. And this is the new map, Rise, from the first game, which people love. But they're very specific. Like you were telling me, and I had played just until yesterday, the Blackwater Canal map, which has the big canal in the middle. The enemy waves filter through and down that one lane.
Under the bridge?
Yeah, and
downtown.
The waves cater to that, so they're different. I guess what I'm trying to say is each map is very different as far as strategy goes.
Yeah,
and
this one seems much less lane-based, the one I'm watching right now.
Oh, it's got like 3 main lanes.
Yeah.
I mean, all maps kind of do.
Maybe Blackwater is just very, very, very like 3 approaches, aside from the mortar guys, which you can go over rooftops.
Yeah. The thing is, I kept telling you, is I really want to play with friends and have voice chat because it's pretty key. Like, it's really, really teamwork centric.
Yeah.
Where like you want to have, as you said, loadouts too, right? Like, you think you like cloak, but now I'm realizing, which is an ability that I would never use, is AWOL, where it's like I just put down my AWOL and I could be that defensive player and just use like anti-Titan weapons.
It's a shield for those who don't know.
It's a shield, but when you output through it, it does a damage boost.
Yeah.
So like
cool.
So that would be a role. Another role would be like I'm gonna get down early and like take out these Titans. But yeah, it's very team centric, and I think it's super fun and unique. And if you again drifted off from the multiplayer because you thought it was a little too competitive or difficult, this is like a whole new way of playing this game.
Yeah, Lion Peach in the YouTube chat was just saying it's funny that this released the same week as like Fortnite's soft launch. 2 wave defense things. Obviously, Zombie Chronicles came out recently. Seems like it's not a resurgence. I don't think wave defense kind of survival modes ever went anywhere, but It is funny. We'll talk more about Fortnite later, but it's funny that a Titanfall 2 update does wave defense better than Fortnite, in my opinion.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
In a few ways, but that's not the best, like the fairest comparison, but they are going for part of their Fortnite's design is wave defense. And I'm having much more fun with Titanfall 2's wave defense. Titanfall 2 is also a really good example of games that are really, really supporting their communities after launch. There's Overwatch. You have like
That's what I was gonna say.
Ubisoft has
insane.
been doing really well too. The Division they made much better. Rainbow Six Siege like doubled its player base 8 months after or something.
Yeah.
It's really great. Like like the subreddit of the games that I am obsessed with and look into the subreddits. Like that subreddit is so cool to see. Like one of the developers be the kind of spokesperson and like post the patch notes. We're also doing Q&A. Like when people are being vocal about changes that they don't like, it's just a very like healthy conversation. Like there's never a post that's like, are you fucking, like any kind of like bashing or swearing or being like overly aggressive. For so many games you see like can get nasty. They completely listen to their fans every time. Like, yeah.
Yeah, like Tumbleseed did that too, where they released a patch because people were like not beating that game. Like 0.8% of people beat that game or something like that. They were like, all right, we heard you guys. It's too difficult. And they wrote this whole thing out, the developers. And it's nice to have that open channel, like they're listening and then it's more of a conversation rather than just people yelling into a void.
Right.
Being like, oh, it's too hard. I hate this.
It doesn't have to be like
It's an evolving
players versus developers, right? It's
Yeah.
like,
Right.
we both want this game to be good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's. I'm interested to see. It's not the same developer, obviously, but Battlefront 2 is gonna have free DLC as well. So I'm interested to see how EA kind of implements that stuff as far as EA is concerned, as the publisher of both games.
DLC, or updates post launch, they need to make money, obviously, and Titanfall's really great about separating that with cosmetics. Like I'm always like happy to give that $5 for a skin. Again, having all the updates be free, like.
It also
That's
helps
so big.
people want to just pick up the game if maybe they didn't see anything there they wanted before.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Right,
it's like,
like
well,
now.
geez, when this came out, it was one thing, but it's a totally different thing now, so maybe I'll buy it.
Yeah, you could play just Frontier Defense and still
Right.
level up in the same progression system plus the Aegis system.
Totally. And I responded to some guy, I think on YouTube, who was like, is this worth picking up? And it's like, some guy said it best. He was like, I'm pretty sure he's right, but the game is $20, I think, for PS4 right now.
Really?
I think
Wait,
so.
why is it 20?
I don't know.
Standard across any like marketplace?
I don't know exactly where he was looking. I mean, I had to double check that.
There
but
was like a big PlayStation sale recently. I
yeah,
don't know if that's
$20. Like, if it's not 20, it's probably 30. I don't know. But like,
Yeah.
for this mode alone, right? Like, it's just
Yeah.
freaking cool, man. Like, I can't recommend it enough, honestly.
Cool. Yeah, so that is available on PC, Xbox One, PS4, all three platforms. Like Rob was just saying, it's well worth playing. Even if you might not have been Titanfall 2 before, it's well worth jumping back into. And it's a good supplement to the PvP stuff, which I've been playing pretty regularly since it launched last October.
And they're
almost a
still,
year.
they're still updating it. It seems like every month, almost like some kind of update.
Plus,
game
Papa
modes.
Scorch got a buff.
Papa Scorch. That was the funniest part about the stream. Tay and I
Buff
were
Dad.
laughing. Some guy like, basically, I would butcher it, but he basically did like the DiGiorno. he turned the DiGiorno motto into like Papa Scorch. I don't know.
It's not.
See, I've been thinking
Dad.
about Papa Roach this whole time.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
no, babe.
I was
Wait,
like,
is that Papa Roach?
yeah, that's Papa Roach. I feel like you need an ability or something called Last Resort. Just really round that out.
And there's gonna be more Titans down the road too. Like they're
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
At least one more.
I think two more.
What was the melee based one that they saw in the files? Just like that punches people.
Bison.
Bison, yeah.
Which would because
Good
there
name.
are three
I was going to
chassis.
make a Mike Tyson joke.
Really?
It rhymes with
And
it.
Bison.
Dope. Yeah, there are three chassis. Like they just did one, the kind of medium build with Monarch. Like I would expect two more.